Today I'm going to talk about Ukraine. The latest scandal is that somebody in a high ranking position, a chief position, has resigned due to money scandal. I'm going to go through and let you know what is going on there, but I wonder if the December predictions that I predicted last week have already started to happen. Usually that's how the predictions work. It's the first one I talk about that always happens first. And I always make sure that my readings are live from the day that I do them. And I've done that reading on the 23rd of November. So I'm going to let you know now what is going on in Ukraine. And I wonder, I'm going to use the cards to see if this is the one that the prediction deck was talking about, or is there going to be something else happening in December? So we have got the Chief of Staff resignation. Zelensky's Chief of Staff resigned after his office and home were raided by anti-corruption police investigating a €100 million fraud scheme. So the ministerial resignations, the Justice Minister, the Energy Minister stepped down at Zelensky's request amid allegations. It's the energy sector fraud. Now, there has been Operation Midas. It's dubbed Operation Midas, was launched by Ukraine's National Anti-Corruption Bureau, looking into targeting bribery and money laundering linked to energy contracts. So prediction was all about money. There was money all over it. There was business dealings and business persons, banking, all of that was all over it. So, and I kept saying money because there was 3 money cards on the table, and it kept saying rulership handover. It kept saying trying to hold on to power, but resigning, end of a chapter, standing down. So all of those things do really fit this news headline. So I wonder if this is the one that they're talking about. So let's get into a reading today and have a look at Zelensky. We're going to look at Ukraine, see if this is affecting peace negotiations, see if anything else is going to come from this, or if anybody else's head will roll over this scandal. So I'm using my predictions oracle today to see if we can get any of the same cards to come out that came out in the predictions reading. So then I know that this is the one. Also the Stardust Shadows and the governance, because we're talking about leadership here, rulership and countries. So let's start with the governance oracle first of all. Okay, so I might shuffle high, just so you can see me shuffling, for money and power. So it's all about money and power is what the cards are saying. Collective action. Now, collective action was definitely in the prediction reading, people wanting somebody to be held accountable. It was kind of like rebellion energy from the people demanding accountability, and that was in the December reading. So that's very interesting. Let's keep these cards out for a moment while we let them continue to see what else is going on with this latest Ukraine scandal. So I had a no card fall out. Okay, so there's unresolved differences. Somebody standing down at the request of somebody else. Now, let me just pull something else in on that one. Okay, so we've got Zelensky trying to resolve the problem with this person in the background. But then what's interesting is this card here has come out, shadow rulership. So has this been influenced by somebody else? Somebody in the background? Zelensky, somebody in the background. Okay. Did Zelensky have any prior knowledge? Bound by allegiance. That's a big chessboard. He's been trying to work on a solution. Okay, and something about selling secrets. Or what's been sold here. It's money again. You can see the big bag of money. Big bag of money. Working on a solution. Bound by allegiances. Okay, let's do energy of Zelensky. Volodymyr Zelensky. He's taking an unwavering stance on this, calling for action to have these people stood down. Okay, so he again is showing controlled speech, fed lines, or requested by somebody else. But this here I'm getting as what's going on with Russia here in this situation. I don't think Ukraine's communist. Okay, let's have a look. Let's break the questions down a little bit more. Will anybody else be resigning due to this scandal? Okay, there'll be a fall from grace. Yes. Yes. Somebody will be an isolated outcast. So now I asked, will somebody else fall over this? Yes, they will. There's going to be a big fall from grace here. Will this affect Zelensky's leadership? Misuse of funds. The deliberately obscuring, you're not going to believe this, energy management. These cards are just all over this. And corruption, covert corruption, misuse of funds, energy management, deliberately obscuring the information. I couldn't have picked those better if I tried. These cards are spirit right now is all over this topic. The cards are on it. Now, that my question then was Zelensky. Will that affect Zelensky's leadership? Still withholding knowledge or information. Again, being very controlled about what information is released here. He's being tight-lipped. He's being fed lines about what he can say, and he's being very careful about what information comes out here regarding these allegations. This is what I'm saying because, oh my God, they're okay. Now, I don't know how much I can say, but I'm hearing things like a cesspool that goes very deep. And I'm just giving you their direct information as it comes in as well. Will Zelensky have to stand down? He's doing what he's doing to gain approval. Or he'll have to do what he has to do to gain approval. Russia. Is this affecting the talks, peace talks between Russia and Ukraine? is this affecting, first of all, peace talks between Russia and Ukraine? Being very judgmental about this situation. There is a shadow operation going on in the background. Who's the shadow operation from? On a global scale. It's a global scale. So it's beyond Ukraine. They're looking at regulations, different regulations around money, the money corruption. The enemy is within. So the enemy is within Ukraine here. And it becomes something where national defense is involved. So military is somehow involved. I don't know, it could be like military steps in here or military is affected. Okay, I'm going to let the cards talk for a minute to see what they want to say here. What would you like to tell me? Because these cards are actively speaking. Oh, okay. Now, the card that keeps falling out, somebody here has looking for a beneficial impact and good intentions. I don't know what they're trying to say here now. Global governance. So this may be somebody outside of Ukraine or a organization. I would definitely say organization. Outside, maybe the one that starts with N, maybe one that, because we did have that military kind of thing step in, but it's like global governance steps in here to, it doesn't say improve, it says good intentions or beneficial impact here. I don't understand that. So can you give me some kind of clarity what you mean? I don't get what you're trying to say there. If you know, please do let me know in the comments. What are you trying to say there? Because it was two very similar cards, so they're obviously trying to say something. That global governance may be shifting alliances for, we've got a leadership battle. They need to get domestic priority, Ukraine, lacking control. They're trying to get a bit more control globally. Global dominance above Ukraine is stepping in because of the domestic situation within Ukraine. There may be some kind of leadership battle. The global governance may be shifting their alliances and trying to get control of this latest scandal, what's going on here. Okay, the other card that has fallen out here is crypto uncertainty. So uncertainty around money. Will we see, how do I say that? Okay, so I have two questions. We've got disappointing results there, but I didn't have a question. We have disappointing results and a negative impact, but I didn't have a question. So it affects some situation in a negative way, but I had no question. So the two questions that I really want to answer, but I don't know how to phrase is, will this affect peace talks with Russia? I would like a clear answer on that. And the other thing is, will this affect Zelensky himself? Will it affect his leadership in any way? So let's start there. Will this affect its internal adversary before I've even started to shuffle? So in turn, enemy within. So that the enemy within there. Is this going to affect Volodymyr Zelensky's leadership? Oops, the two that just came out then. Now he's going to be in a position where his hand will be forced over something here because of this information or what is found in this investigation. He'll be forced to do something. Intimidated by global elites or global governance. So will force his hand for some reason, will force him to do something. The enemy within his country. Okay, anything else you want to say on that? Again, the national defence card, as a matter of national defence, has come out as well. Okay, anything else regarding the energy around Volodymyr Zelensky? I'm changing cards in a minute. One more question. Okay, I'll give them again, forced hand. They're saying it again. Forced hand just popped out again. Being true to their word. Let me see. Forced to be truthful to a global governance. Forced to be truthful to global rulers. Okay, the other thing is, does this affect positively or negatively the peace talks between targeted attack just came out between Russia and Ukraine? Okay, Russia and Ukraine peace talks. Does this affect? Failed negotiation. Voice of the people. This is the people standing up and maybe demanding accountability. We're talking Russia now, Russia and Ukraine war. How is this affected by the latest scandal? They're working on a solution here, again, bound by allegiances around the corruption and cover-ups, and we've got liberation prevails. Liberation prevails there, but they're working on a solution because of this covert corruption that's been taking place. Bound by allegiances, I don't know what that means. Can you give me some more information on bound by allegiances that keeps coming out? Bound by allegiances. More information, please. Bound by allegiances. Just flicked out over on this side. Again, about information that has not been classified or released, holding back certain information and using intimidation tactics. So again, bound by allegiances, but intimidation tactics. So that's more information and fall from grace. Fall from grace? Yes. Yes. Okay, let's go to the, I'm just going to go straight to the Stardust Shadows Tarot now and just see what they've got to say. Show me energy around Zelensky's latest scandal. Okay, let's give him a shuffle. Goes deep, just like the information that they were feeding me before about a deep cesspool. The deception goes deep around wealth and money. Same questions again. Please show me how this affects Zelensky, please. He'll be facing some hardship or difficulties here. He will have to make sacrifices, which he has already started doing by ordering the resignation of certain people. There's a naivety to this situation, or the fool, like foolish decisions. Okay, energy around Zelensky and this scandal, please. Secrets divulged. Indebted. That, look at all that money that person's hanging on to. Deception again. Deception again. Okay. This is obedience and compliant, but I was changing questions in my mind then. The question I'm getting is, show me connections to, and I'll do on both this question that's coming in, is show me connections to Russia. Distant connection, or distancing themselves. There may be certain information that has been recorded. One nation recording another nation. Blackmail. Okay, somebody well known. On the defensive. Okay, I need to change cards. Then they're not playing as well as the governance for this type of questioning. They're doing well, but I think this is more political than scandal. But it is a scandal. That's why I've got both decks. Okay, let's see. I want to know what the connections are here with this scandal between Russia and Ukraine. Russia's influence, Russia's effects. Where's the connections here? They're using it, okay, to resolve differences, internal adversary. Again, same cards coming out again. So they keep repeating themselves. Unresolvable differences here. I feel it's the differences that has been experienced between Russia and Ukraine, enemies within. So Ukraine being intimidation. They're using this information as a way to intimidate the situation, one country to another, falling from grace. So they fall from grace here, and military control, same cards, exact same cards. Will this affect the negotiations? Will this affect the negotiations? He'll be forced. His hand will be forced. Zelensky. Voice of the people, again. Bound by allegiance, again. Global impact, again. There's 100 cards here because of knowledge withheld. I'm not going to keep reading this because the same cards keep coming out over and over again. So I think this is, I can't keep asking and the same cards keep coming out every time I ask. 100 cards in the deck and the same cards keep coming out for this. Interesting. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. Yeah, I think this could be the big scandal that was in the predictions, December predictions happening already. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit that heart button for that like. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching.